Welcome to another edition of Chart Talk. I'm Tony Ogorek. I'm here with Jeff Viksjo. And today, Jeff, we're going to be talking about the difference between CDs and bonds. And for a lot of people, they think when interest rates go up, well, that's great for their CD or their savings account. And they don't quite understand why we tell them it really isn't good news in the world of bonds. So we've got a chart here with a lot of numbers, but it's not as complicated as you would think. So why don't we take a look at this, Jeff, and see if you can shed a little bit of light on what we're seeing here.
Yes. So bond prices move inversely to interest rates. So if interest rates go up, your bond prices go down. So if rates surge as they have the last year, you're going to see a lot of red in your bond portfolio. If rates then come back down, your bond prices will go back up. It's really a math problem. And so when rates are falling, we want to be in the longest term bonds that we can. Right now, Tony, rates have been rising, so we've kept everything in the short-term treasury bills. Eventually, we're going to want to move long-term, but it's really tough to time it perfectly.
Right. And so, Jeff, let's take a look at this table in particular. You see this at the top. It says BP, 300 BP, 150 BP. A basis point is 1/100th of a percent. So if you see 300 BP, that means an increase of 3% in interest rates. And if you see a 50 BP fall, that means interest rates have fallen by 0.5%. And Jeff, usually we're talking about what interest. Well, we've got different maturities here. So why don't you walk people through a couple of scenarios, one where interest rates would continue to increase from where we are, and where they may decrease and what it means for different maturities of bonds.
Yeah, so let's say we're at about 5% right now, and we can look all the way to the left of the chart. It's a 300 basis point rise, which means rates go from 5 to 8. So rates continue their surge. Tony, where would we want to be? We'd want to be in the shortest term bonds, that 2-year treasury. It shows you can still get a positive return even if that happens. If we move to the longer term bonds and we locked in at 5% for a very long time, say 20 years, and then rates shot up to 8, we'd be looking at a loss of nearly 25%. So don't want to be there if rates are climbing. If you look at the other side of the chart, if rates were to fall, so we're at 5, let's say rates go to 2, we don't want to be in the short-term stuff because then the bond rates will immediately reprice down to 2 and we won't be making very much. We wanted to have locked in at 5. So in that case where rates fall, you want to be in the longer-term bonds. Tony, if we bought a 30-year treasury at 5 and then rates fell to 2, we'd be up 75%.
Actually, our clients would, and hopefully we would have money in there too. But Jeff, this is sort of the we have a phrase for this in the business, and it's called trying to catch a falling knife. And it's really, really hard. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what firm you're with. I don't care how many computers you have. It's exceedingly difficult to call that turn accurately. And it's a falling knife. You think you're going to catch the handle and you're going to get it just right. Invariably, you typically catch the blade and you end up getting cut. So it's different. Even Jeff Gunlock, who is, sort of something of him as the bond king, he says he can't even call rates and he has to wait until there's a move. And then it's a judgment call whether that move is going to be sustained or not. So at least this gives people a little bit of an idea about what we're looking at and the fundamental difference between bonds and a CD, where the principal cannot move, but the interest rate can. Thank you. And thank you for listening to this latest edition of Chart Talk.